Good morning. Hello, you guys, and happy Friday. It is coffee chat time with me, Catherine Oster. In case you were curious, in case this is your first time seeing me, I am so grateful you were here. Good morning, Nicole. Lady, how are you today? Good morning, Joy. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so excited you're joining me live. Wow, I wonder who else. So for those of you that this is your first time seeing me, wow, I am so grateful you are watching this. And hello, whoever you are, wherever you are from, hello. And coffee chat are just like quick little chit chats about crazy things in life, mostly magic for me. The magic that can show up when you are being present and choosing things. Good morning, Carmen. So I'm a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, and Access Consciousness is this body of work, basically tools that are questions that anybody can use at any time in their lives to begin creating change. And also bars is a body process that is so yummy. Anyway, today I wanted to chat with you guys about what if everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. And that is a tool in Access Consciousness that you get when you take a bars class. And you're also getting the information here right now as you're watching this coffee chat. And what I want to speak to it about is with regards to money and our farm. So we are grain farmers. I grain farm with my husband and my brother-in-law and his wife, and our kids are now getting involved in the farm in the capacities that they can. And we seed about 4,000 acres, maybe 4,200 acres every year. And we're not quite halfway done yet, but it's been raining, which has been a gift. Last year, we experienced a drought on the grain farm, and we didn't have much of a crop to harvest, but that also created something. So that also is part of what if everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Okay, where to begin? I am also our kind of chief financial officer for Oster Farms. So I do all the bookkeeping. I look after the flow of cash within the farm, making sure that all of our payments are met. We have enough cash flow coming in. The guys look after selling the grain. So basically I'm like, hey, we need, a couple $100,000 by the end of June so we can meet these payments, mortgage payments, etc. And then they go off and they market the grain for me. I also have asks. Like, since I've been using these tools of Access Consciousness, it has invited me to look at and be with money in a totally different way than anybody has ever told me about before, in a way that actually creates something different than lack and struggle and not enough money. And one of the things is to set targets. So I had this target set for a few years now. And we've always been very, very close to achieving this financial target, for a gross amount of dollars for the farm for the year. And last year, we actually outcreated that target. Last year, on a year where we experienced a drought, we had less crop than we have ever harvested in a very long time, but we actually financially outcreated ourselves. Interesting. I know. What if everything is the opposite of what it appears to be? My husband would be like, oh my God, we're having a drought. We're going to go bankrupt. We're not going to have any grain to sell. Therefore, we're not going to have any money. What if that's not actually true? What actually ended up happening was every year we buy crop insurance. Hey, Christy. Every year we buy crop insurance, and that is an insurance against the drought. We insure every crop, every acre. So our canola, for example, we are insured to meet a minimum amount of bushels per acre that we harvest. And if we are less than that, so let's say our minimum bushel per acre is 30 bushels per acre. And let's say last year we were like 15 bushels, which would have been probably close. what ended up happening last year was the crop prices increased. So the market price increased so that 15 bushels of canola that we did harvest ended up being the value of actually a 30 bushel canola crop, because we sold it for almost double. Now, we did have some pre-contracted canola, say for $10, but we did have some, let's say we contracted 10 bushels to the acre of our production for $10. And then we had that 5 bushels that we could sell for double. Plus, then crop insurance paid us out to achieve our minimum amount. And so all in all, what ended up happening was we outcreated our financial target in a drought. Plus, our expenses were less in terms of the cost of doing business, like the fuel. We harvested less crop, so the equipment wasn't working as hard. We weren't burning as much fuel during harvest. There was less trucking expenses of the grain to the elevator because we had less grain to haul in. It was really magic. Who would have ever thought that? I never would have considered that in a drought year, we could have financially succeeded. Like, in a way that was beyond what I could ever imagine. Now, the interesting thing is following the energy, because there's different types of crop insurance programs out there. And we chose Saskatchewan Crop Insurance. So that's like a provincial one where they pay you, where we insure a minimum amount of bushels production per acre. There's another type of crop insurance that where you insure $1 per acre income. So let's say you would then insure your farm for $300 per acre. So if your net or your gross production across your farm was $300 per acre, then you would not get crop insurance. But if you were below that, then crop insurance would pay you out to that amount. And we did choose that type of insurance for a few years. And during those years, we didn't have to make a claim. In fact, this is really the first crop insurance claim that we have made since I've been kind of the financial farm person. So for about 10 years. So if we had went with that crop insurance program this year, we would not have gotten a payout because of the increase in grain prices. We would have been about that threshold of $300 per acre, and then we wouldn't have received the crop insurance. But with the other crop insurance that we did go with insuring a minimum, like the production, we did. And it was funny because we just kind of switched that year. Like, and for no good reason, really. It just felt lighter. Good morning, Bobby. Hi, Kyla. And that is one of the things that I have learned about what is lighter, a lighter choice. That's what's going to create your future, you know, and tapping into that and then choosing based on the energy, not for any reason and justification, because whether you have acknowledged it or not, you are aware of the future. I'm just going to ask you a question. Truth. Are you aware of the future? Yes or no? If yes is the one that pops, if yes feels lighter to you, meaning there's more space to it, then you have an awareness of the future. So when you ask a question, truth, you know, and this is a question we ask, and I actually use this with Travis and Jen now. I mean, they just embrace that I'm weird and I don't, we don't necessarily make farm decisions for linear purposes. You know, we actually, all 4 of us have developed this, we've all had our bars ran and we've all started to ask these questions in terms of making choices. So truth, what will our life be like in 5 years if we go with this type of crop insurance? And we get a sense of that energy and notice how what we perceive in our bodies, does it contract us? Do you feel a knot in your stomach? For me, I always frown. Something that is heavy is just a frown for me, meaning that if we choose that, that is the energy that is going to be created as our life in the future. Truth, what will my life be like in 5 years if we choose this type of crop insurance? the provincial one, the one that we chose, and it was like way lighter and it was kind of exciting feeling. And it was like, yeah, so that's the one we chose. And then that's what got created last year. And it's like, wow, okay, cool. How does it get better than that? So when you start tapping into the energy of what your choices create as your future, you then, good morning, Nikki, hold the keys. And you then take the driver's seat in what shows up in your life. Now, you don't always know exactly how it's going to show up. When we chose that type of crop insurance, I would have never known that we were going to experience a drought, that it was going to, how it was going to show up, or how it was going to end up being greater. I didn't know that with my mind. I just knew the energy was undeniably lighter for that choice. And that is the adventure that I'm discovering. So that's really cool. Another thing too with that question is with our equipment. You know, we kind of had this thing where we wanted to get our equipment paid for, and then we're not always, because, you know, equipment leases, payments are fairly a significant amount of our expenses on the farm. And one piece of equipment that we were so close to getting paid for was our seeder tractor. We've had it for about 10 years now, and it's been good to us. But this season, it has started breaking down, giving us a little bit of grief. We've been down a couple of days getting things repaired on it and looked at. And actually, it went into the shop for something before seeding started. And we were thinking then that would alleviate any breakdowns in seeding, but that's not the case. So our tractor is getting our attention. We had this conclusion that we were going to keep running it and getting it paid for, but is that actually going to make us money? No, it's not. The linear on paper might be like, well, you know, if we add another tractor, we are spending more money. We have more money going out. But what if that's not what's creating money? You know, you can start to ask things like, truth, if we buy a new seeder tractor, is that going to make us money? If we look at trading this tractor in, and that's pretty light right now. And in fact, you know, and it's kind of funny because in the beginning of us asking these questions, we all have, each one of us in the farming mix, we all have different points of view of how we should spend the money and how we could create money. And my husband tends to be a little more like, well, no, we can't afford any more payments and that's not going to work. And oh my God, we're going to have more money going out and we're going to go bankrupt is kind of where he is at. And I'm always like, no, actually, what if that's not true? What if this cash going out is going to create greater? Now, it took me a few years. Like, we were a little bit slower with these choices in the beginning of me asking these questions. Hi, Donna. Hi, Caitlin. Now they're coming faster. So this tractor thing literally just came up in the last couple of days. And yesterday was a rain day and we ended up going on a little road trip to pick up some parts for the sprayer nozzles, like normal stuff. And sometimes Travis and I will have these really generative conversations while we're driving. And we were talking about the tractor. And so we're looking at, you know, another, like currently our tractor payment is $10,000 twice a year. We look at trading it in, getting a new tractor, we're going to be doubling that for sure, maybe even a little bit more. And it's like, okay, so if we do that, is that actually going to make us money? Yes. Okay, cool. That's lighter, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I know that money has never been a thing because over the last 10 years, we have chosen, good morning, Lori, made equipment choices where it has maybe looked like we are spending more money, therefore we might be creating less or having less money at the end of the day, because that's kind of what the linear mind tells you, you know, like if you have more money going out, then you're going to have less money. But that's not actually what's been showing up for us. Over the last 10 years, what has been showing up for us is, yes, we have had more money going out in terms of upgrading equipment. We have purchased more land. Good morning, Shauna. We have added buildings and different things to our farm. And what has actually shown up is more. Like more, at the end of the day, money to support us. So we're actually using the money in a creative way that is generating greater. And by more money, I mean, we have more money in a savings account. We have been able to pay cash for more inputs every year, a little bit more. And so it really was getting out of this linear point of view that when you spend more money, you make less, but not unconsciously. You know, we don't just go and unconsciously buy things. We ask that question, if I buy you, will you make me money? Or that other question of truth, what will our life be like in 5 years if we go with this option? And truth, what will our life be like in 5 years if we don't go with this option? And so it has created, and Travis and I were talking about this yesterday, and I'm like, wow, like we actually have created this totally amazing, like using these tools. And I was so excited because I remember in the very beginning, so it has been like, you know, well, 8 years since I got my bars ran for the first time and started kind of dabbling with these questions. And I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I'm like, is this gonna work? Oh my God, I have no idea. Like I don't, you know, but I'm just going to jump in and we're just going to start choosing and I'm going to start asking these questions and we're just going to go for it. And holy man, what has shown up in 10 years has totally blown me away. So that is my coffee chat for today, you guys. And thank you so much for joining me live. If you are curious about more of these tools, like I would just suggest starting by getting your bars ran. Bars is, actually, if you look on my page, I did a 3-part series with these amazing ladies, Annalise and Carmen. We talked about bars and what it does and what it is. So look on my page, you're here, you'll see those replay videos, check those out. Message me if you would like a bar session, or Annalise or Carmen, or find somebody near you who does bars. And, you know, commit to maybe getting your bars ran once a month for a year and see what that changes for you. Take a bars class, like just start playing if this intrigues you at all. So cheers to choice and the power of choice that you have that you maybe have never acknowledged before. Have an amazing day wherever you guys, whatever you are up to. I'll see you again next Friday for coffee chat. Yes, Donna, catch the replay. Good morning, Robert. Mwah. Bye-bye for now.